meteorologist Peyton Malone. Your weather authority, powered by AccuWeather.
Welcome back, Gulf Coast. Well, here is what Tropical Storm Gordon looks like off the west coast of Florida. Earlier, it was down just to the south of Tampa over towards Fort Myers. Now it's out in the Gulf of Mexico, excuse me. You can see the spin here as it continues to move off towards the west-northwest. And at the moment, it's about 380 miles southwest, or southeast, excuse me, of Gulfport, or the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It is moving towards the northwest, and as it does so, it's going to be heading in our direction. So here's the latest on it. As of 10 p.m., here's what the National Hurricane Center released. Hasn't strengthened or really changed at all since 7 p.m. We still have a pressure just over 1,000 millibars and 60 mile per hour sustained winds. It is moving at the same speed as well at about 17 miles per hour, which is pretty quickly. Here's the latest forecast cone. Something has changed on this. The intensity is pretty much the same. We're expecting it to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane as it approaches the Mississippi Gulf Coast, but the timing of it is what has changed. Earlier, we were thinking right around midnight. Now we're thinking it might be a little bit earlier. Right now, the National Hurricane Center wants to move the strongest part of the storm into our area at about 7 o'clock tomorrow. This will likely, give or take an hour or so. But either way, we are expecting conditions to deteriorate as we go throughout tomorrow afternoon. Worse conditions tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. Because of that, we still have our hurricane warning for the coastal counties, tropical storm warning for the inland counties, and that pretty much goes until Wednesday afternoon or so. We also have our storm surge warning. All of the coastal counties of Mississippi, we do have a storm surge watch off to our east in Alabama. Expecting about 3 to 5 feet here along the immediate coastline. That'll be as the strongest part of the storm moves on. And depending on where the exact track goes, the center of that storm, that's going to determine where the surge is the highest. If it moves over here towards Hancock County, we'll see surge across the entire area. If it moves further off towards the east, let's say over here along the border, we're going to see the surge move off towards Alabama and the Florida area. So here is what we're expecting with tropical threats. Some good news with all of this is the tornado threat is pretty low. Not expecting a whole lot in the way of tornadic activity. We could see 1 or 2, but storm surge about 3 to 5 feet. We'll put that in medium, but our main concern is going to be the winds and the flooding. We'll go with 50 to 60 mile per hour sustained winds, isolated higher numbers, or at least hurricane force numbers, with gusts up to about 80 plus. That can do damage. That can knock down trees, power lines, so we could be without power. That is a real possibility. 4 to 7 inches of rainfall, isolated higher amounts. That means flash flooding could be a concern. We've seen a lot of rainfall over the past couple of weeks, and that's why flooding will be a concern, along with if you live along a river, you're going to have to follow this very closely. So here's a timeline of the winds. Here's what we're thinking. By tomorrow afternoon, we've got some of those outer bands pushing into the area. Around lunchtime, we start to see a little bit of gusty winds. But thinking most of the tropical storm winds at least 39 miles per hour still to our south. But by the time we get to about 5, 6, 7, that's when we're really going to start to watch those winds pick up. Anywhere in the reds and the purples, that's likely to see tropical storm force winds. Notice this is about 6 to 7 o'clock as it moves into South Mississippi, and we still got those strong winds as we go around midnight and going into the early morning of Wednesday. So you remember how fast Nate moved last year? It moved in and it moved out very quickly. This one likely going to be moving a little bit slower. And then by Wednesday afternoon, the wind moves out of the area, but we're still going to be dealing with the rainfall. And that's why flooding is one of the primary concerns with this storm. So notice this swath of heavier rain right here. That's where the track is expected to be. If the track shifts, this is going to shift a little bit. But overall, we're thinking 4 to 7 inches here in South Mississippi. Pretty much every county here, isolated 7 plus. We will see higher amounts, and that's why flash flooding is going to be a concern. Here's what the rain chances are looking like as we go throughout tomorrow. We're going to start the morning off pretty normal. It's going to be breezy out there, but really not expecting a whole lot of activity. We'll have a few showers and thunderstorms, but as we go to around lunchtime into the afternoon and evening, the rain chance is really going to go up. That's when conditions are going to go downhill, and that's why if you are preparing for this storm, you either need to finish tonight or you need to finish tomorrow morning, because by the afternoon, it's really not going to be that safe to be out there. And if it does move on shore around 8 o'clock, that's when we'll expect the highest winds, the heaviest rain, and storm surge, and then the rain is going to continue throughout the overnight period on Tuesday going into Wednesday. So our bottom line, we have that hurricane warning, winds sustained 50 to 60 miles per hour across the area, isolated higher numbers and gust over 80. It's very possible, and that doesn't mean power outages are a possibility. Storm surge warning up to 5 feet is possible as that storm moves in, and then a flash flood watch goes because we are expecting at least 4 to 7 inches of rainfall, isolated higher amounts. So you know the rule of thumb, turn around, don't drown. And as the storm moves through, you really don't even need to be out in it. You need to be home being safe. So as we go throughout Tuesday, rain chances increasing along with the wind. Wednesday, expecting pretty rainy conditions all day long. And then Gordon moves on out. And by the time we get to the end of this week, going into the weekend, we finally get back in that typical summertime routine.